So, welcome to my quick tutorial, and that's my mailbox going off right there. To a quick tutorial on how to start the Cessna 172. As you can see, this is the steam gauge version, which is, I believe, only available in the Premium Deluxe edition of the sim. But anyway, let's get right to it. Of course, it's fairly simple because you've got your checklist, and there's also the possibility to make the sim show you where each switch is, if you want that. Now let's jump right into it. So we have the aircraft documents aboard, of course. The parking brake is set. Ignition is off, as you can see. The key is in the off position, and I can turn it further to the left. I can turn it to the right. Avionics switches bus 1 and 2 are in the off position. The battery switch, I will turn it on. And you can see, now the next step is fuel quantity indicators. I believe this one is taken over from the G1000 version, because you can check the fuel, whether the battery is off or on, as you can see. So that's not a problem to do when the battery master is off in the non-G1000 version. But anyway, low left fuel and low fuel right indicators and annunciators are off. Those are located right here, and they are off indeed. Avionics switch 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are on, as you can see. Avionics cooling fan is, let's say, audible, so we can turn it back off. Then static pressure alternate source valve, that's this one right here. It says it right here, but the switch is over here, and it is set to off on norm. So that's the norm position. That's the one we're going to use. Annunciator panel test. But that's the switch right here. Click and hold, and you see the lights go on, and that's okay. Then the fuel selector set to both. Now the problem here is, and I think this is a bug of the sim, it says emergency fuel valve, which I don't think is correct. And if I set it to normal, as it indicates here, I set it to the left tank, as you can read. This is the right, that's the left tank, and that's both tanks. Now if I would click right now, it tells me it would be set to emergency, but it's actually set to both, so it's kind of strange. But maybe this is a bug in the sim, I don't know. So we're gonna set it to both, as it was before. Fuel shutoff valve open. Now that's this one here, and that's how it looks when it's in. Flaps down. I'm not gonna do that right now. I can still do that later, and the aircraft is turned on. So I'm gonna leave that for now. Pitot heat on check marking. Well, I can turn it on, but there's no indication whether it's heating up or not, so I can turn it right off again. Battery switch off. Elevator trim neutral. Elevator trim is right here, and you can see it says neutral. And that's the pre-flight inspection done. Now, before starting the engine. So pre-flight inspection is complete. Seatbelts are of course adjusted and locked. The electrical equipment is off. Avionics switch bus 1 and 2 are also off, the fuel selector is still in both, and the fuel shutoff valve is still open. We haven't touched those. Now starting the engine. Throttle, open 1/4 of an inch. So I usually go to about 20%. That's usually enough to start the engine at, well, let's say up to 1,000 feet. Above 1,000 feet or 2,000 feet, you maybe you need a little bit more power for the engine to really start and not turn off directly. So you're gonna leave it at 20%. Mixture idle cut off. Mixture is cut off. The propeller area, we can take a look, is clear, as you can see. Also on a very beautiful little airport. But the area is clear. Battery switch to on. Beacon to on. I also like to turn on the navigation lights. That's usually the way you do it on the, let's say, bigger airplanes, when you turn on the power on the ramp or the APU, you turn on, the first thing you do is turn on the nav lights. And you turn on the beacon when you are ready to start the engine and leave it on as long as the engine is running. So I'm going to turn those two on. The mixture is rich. I'm going to put it to 100%. The fuel pump we set to on, 21, 22, 23, 24. It says you can turn it on about 3 to 5 seconds and off. Mixture lean. I like to put it to about 20% again. If I can get it to 20. I cannot, so I'll leave it at 21. Feet ready to brake. Well, we still got a parking brake set, so that's okay. Ignition start. Now when I start the engine, I like to move the throttle a little bit forward, just to give it enough power to stay on. So I'm going to set the magnetos, both, and then start. I like to give it at 1,000 RPM. And then mixture rich. As you can see, RPM increases. I take the power back to about 1,000 RPM. Come on. There we go. That's about okay. It says here just do 1,000 RPM as well. So we did that. I'm gonna check the oil pressure. Oil pressure is still a little low, but it's okay. Let me turn the alternator on. As you can see, our ampage just nosedived. The reason for this is because the battery gets charged, and that's why it's pulling negative amperes. Alternator indicator off. I think we have that. Let's check. Yeah, it says 1. It says volts. So that's the alternator indicator. Ampere meter, I think that's this one right here. Yeah, I was correct. Then I will go back. Turn it off. And we're still okay. I think that's okay. Avionics bus 1 and 2. And you can see our amperage increase. The load increases when we turn on the avionics bus, which is okay. Radios are on. You can see that here and here. The radios are on. Transponder standby. So transponder, I'm gonna set it to standby. Flaps up. We are still in up. The flaps control is right here. as you can see. That's my flaps control. Heading set, altimeter set. We're gonna set the altimeter by checking. I was going to say by checking in on the ATIS, but there's no ATIS. So we're gonna press B. That sets our altimeter. Attitude indicator set. You can calibrate it if you want to, but the line is pretty much where it should be. And then it's taxi. So that's about it. You can of course turn on the taxi and the strobe lights. And yeah, as I said, that's pretty much it. You can increase the brightness of the instruments if you want. It's getting dark here, so why not? And that's all that's to it. Pretty much. Well, thank you for watching. I hope this was not too unbearable. This is my first video with commentary, so be a little kind to me, if you would. Yeah, but thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if there's any other aircraft you want to see. I'll slowly go through the GA aircraft that are in the flight sim one by one. Maybe if you want to see anything else, just let me know. Thank you guys, and see you in the next video.